Welcome back to another episode of What You Smelling with Chubbz and Kellen. I'm Chubbz.
I'm Kellen.
And you know we like to start it out with our video clip of the week.
So what do we got here today?
Man, we're going back to baseball.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Fortunately.
Fortunately. We like baseball, bro.
We do.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Let's go to the clip.
Let's see what's happening here.
Let's check this out, baby.
This is another tackle. Now we got some pros here.
2 outs.
Ooh, bam!
Hard. 2 outs. Good swing.
Oh, I think that hit. Oh my gosh, I think that hit.
That's good. Looks like I got it.
Sack.
Man.
That's supposed to be a pickoff, not pick my nuts off.
Oh. What's he looking at, first
You
of
tell
all?
me that didn't hurt?
Oh, it hurts. Because I don't think people realize that baseball players don't wear cups anymore.
Man.
Maybe the catchers, but nobody else. So that had to be a straight nut shot at maybe 80 miles, 60 miles an hour.
Bro. I think I'm firing on the damn first base.
You got to keep your head on a swivel. That's all I'm saying. You can't be looking at the coach. You got to be looking at that ball at all times. You know.
I'm asking the first baseman, what the hell are you doing?
I am too.
I'm whooping the pitcher's ass and I'm whooping the first baseman's ass.
I mean, he was professional. He didn't want to get fined.
I didn't see nobody run over and say, "Are you okay? How are your balls? Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable when another man asks you about your balls after you?"
I'm always comfortable with anybody asking me about my balls. Now, what response they're going to get will vary depending on who asks me about my balls.
That's hilarious, bro. That's a bit much.
Yeah, but you know what?
Hopefully he was wearing a cup.
He was definitely not wearing a cup. I will guarantee it.
Damn.
He's definitely got some swollen balls. They're going to have to ice him, and he's going to have to go to the training staff. And we can probably check the IR, and somewhere on the Nationals depth chart, it will say number 2, out for 3 days with swollen left or right testicles.
That's semen retention to a whole other level.
That
bro.
is.
That was a funny little clip, though. Okay, we'll open up talking about some of the NBA playoffs. How about last episode, Chubbs predicted Game 3, Boston versus the Nets, that the Nets would go down. Kellen didn't believe me because he's a douche.
I had hope. I was sold on the marketing like everybody else, the big 3, which then turned to the big 2.5 with someone on the bench.
It's like 1.5 because you're only getting half a Kyrie.
Half a Kyrie. It dwindled.
My brother faster. It's tough on him.
I've seen championships with Kyrie.
You saw aspirations of championships.
I've seen
for the Brooklyn
championship. When they first started, everybody said it was a slam dunk. It was a guarantee.
They were the odds favorite in Vegas. I will say that.
It was huge.
So were you surprised?
Very surprised. Very surprised. They looked old. They looked slow. They looked like they didn't want to be there anymore. Something has gone on in that locker room. I wouldn't be surprised if Nash is gone. I think
I'm glad you brought that up. Now let's be real about this. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room, right? Now, had this been a black coach, right? Because you got 2 star players, top 5 players, for sure top 10, possible top 5 talent, and you don't even get to the conference finals 2 years in a row. And then
playing the playing game this year.
And you had to. Well, I get that injuries and whatnot, but once we're in the playoffs, it's a whole new season, right?
Yeah.
You get swept 4-0, bro. Swept. If this had been Mark Jackson or Mike Brown, that ass would have been getting EDD.
But still, who are you even like? I get it, but it's the East 8 seed. You're playing Cleveland.
The Nets are who we thought they were.
I'm just shocked. I mean, they are nothing.
So, are you making a coaching change?
Yes. Yes, I think I am.
Steve Nash, it's not always fair, bro.
It's not.
Bro, but you had 2 A1 players, bro, and you were not able to get it done.
I think it's also, he came in under a situation where he was pushed heavily by his players and felt like he had to be a real player's coach. And I think that we're seeing that that's not going to work out. And once you've given that up, you can't come back in and be Mr. Stern. So you have to kind of change the regime to reel everybody back in and get somebody that's going to be, a little more pump them and,
Let's give Boston some credit, though. Boston played.
Yes, let's give Tatum some credit.
Now, what did I say? I told you if Tatum was able to stamp himself in this series, he could take his level all the way up and be considered top 5 in the NBA.
But
that's exactly.
Notice I didn't say Jaylen Brown.
Ha! Shout out to Jaylen Brown because Jaylen Brown ball. Because don't forget, Tatum fouls out in Game 4 with about 2 minutes left. Don't forget that part.
Okay.
And then my boy Jaylen Brown, what school do you go to?
Cal.
Okay, thank you. Stepped up and helped his team get to the promised line, which is not. I wouldn't say the promised line, but the next round.
Yeah.
Closeout games are always tough, bro. And he was able to step up and get it done.
I agree. You got to call.
Kevin Durant, he played his heart out. I believe he had 39 points, but it just wasn't enough. And the Boston Celtics played great defense on him, man. They made it real tough on him. They sent at least 2 or 3 guys at him every time, got the ball out of his hand. Then he decided to continue to be aggressive and attack the double teams and the triple teams and still shoot. And I mean, you live.
All right. Enough about your win. That series is over.
Don't be mad.
Let's move on.
Don't be mad.
Let's move on.
Don't be mad, bro.
To the future, to teams that might actually win NBA championships this year.
So we got tonight's game is what, Suns and Pelicans?
We got 3. We got Suns, Pelicans. We got Heat, Atlanta, which are just about to start, and we got Memphis, Timberwolves, but the Heat and Atlanta, they're just about to start. Breaking news.
Okay. We'll save those for what we'll be smelling tonight. You'll give your predictions on each game, and we'll see what we're smelling. Let's talk about the NFL draft. How about that?
Fine. You know me. I love the NFL.
Because you are
I'm an NFL
baby.
Baby, I love it. Let's talk about...
Who's going number 1, bro?
Adrian Hutchinson's going number 1. That's clear.
That's the edge rusher from Georgia, right?
No, edge rusher from Michigan.
No, from Michigan.
Aiden Hutchinson's going number 1, and here's
good old boy.
You know, if you want to predict the future, study the past. The NFL is a copycat league. They've had a lot of success with the Bosa brothers, a lot of success with the Wyatt. Watts.
Not Watts up.
Watts got brothers. And I think that they see that, obviously, some comparisons with Aiden Hutchinson within those guys, and I think that they're going to end up drafting him number 1. I think the Georgia kid, he's a special player, but I think they're trying to dangle him.
You're talking about Trayvon Walker, right?
Trayvon Walker, I think he's a special player.
That dude ran a 4.5 in the 40.
Woo, he can move.
Super versatile, strong. I like him.
But I think they're dangling the carrot because I think at the end of the day, it is a little bit of a weaker draft. And I think if somebody were to fall in love with the Georgia D-end and want to give them, a little bit of a package for them to move back 1 or 2 or 3 picks, they might take that risk and still be able to get Aiden Hutchinson. So I think that's why they're dangling that carrot right now with the Georgia D-line.
And if we're still talking about edge rushers, we got to throw in Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon.
Yes.
Big boy.
He might be the best value rusher you're going to get in the draft.
High impact, high motor.
Was the consensus number 1 overall, had some injuries this year, but did come back strong. I think that, again, like I said, I think if you're looking for the best steal in the draft in terms of an edge rusher that you can probably get 9 or 10, but could have been a top 5, I think you're looking right there at him. So that's
solid player all around.
And sometimes, with players like that, he ends up getting in a better position than the other 2 who are in teams that are getting built up where they're going to get double teamed. They are going to be the guy that they're focusing on. And now he's getting in, going with a team that whoever drafts him that has a little bit more of a core where he's not.
Okay. Let me ask you about, I'm going to change positions, go to quarterback. Tell me what you think about Malik Willis.
Malik Willis, the best athlete at quarterback in the draft. Nobody's even close.
Where do you see a good fit for him as far as an NFL team?
I think the Carolina Panthers.
Quarterback right now is what, Sam Darnold?
Is Sam Darnold.
SC boy.
I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy, so I think he could go in there and compete right away. I think with Matt Rule coming from college, I think that he could create a system where you can have him grow within the system. I also think that their other quarterback, who I'm blanking on his name right now, but he came from the XFL, and he is also another mobile quarterback, and he would also fit well as a good mentor for Malik Willis. And I just think with what they're doing in Carolina, that with that type of quarterback, a big mobile quarterback, I think that Matt Rule could really win with that kind of an offense.
Okay, but that's the NFC South. So we got the Falcons, the Bucks, Panthers, and what's the other team? Saints.
I could see him going to.
So, but I'm bringing that up to say that if he is Malik Willis taken by the Carolina Panthers, you think he's ready to face Tom Brady?
I don't think anybody's ready to face Tom Brady.
Okay, and he's going to face Atlanta.
Atlanta doesn't have a quarterback. I was going to say that could be another.
They got rid of Matt Ryan.
They got rid of Matt Ryan. He's with the Colts.
Yeah.
So that could also be another great landing spot for him.
And the Saints. I mean, I know they're going with Jameson, right? He's recovering from ACL surgery, I believe.
I think they're pretty much locked in with Jameson, yes.
So I think that'll be real interesting in that conference if they throw Malik in there.
I do.
I like that. Let me ask you about another quarterback. How about the kid out of Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett?
I mean, that's a very, very, very simple one for me. He's going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think for sure. I think it's a lock. I mean, there's the hometown boy playing for the hometown team. You have that with the Bengals with Joe Burrow. They've had a lot of success with that. Again, the NFL is a copycat league. They like to go with what works in the past. It's working for other teams in the past. I think it's a surefire Pittsburgh Steelers, and I also think he's going to drop in the draft because of his smaller hand size. I think that is a big deal to a lot of teams, and I think they're concerned about that. So I think that's going to leave him dropping in the draft, and then Pittsburgh's going to swoop in. They might even trade back in. They might not even take him with their first pick and grab him, and I think that will be their starter next year, day one.
Do you think he'll be a good fit with Coach Tomlin?
I think he will. I think Coach Tomlin can work with that. I think with him being the most quarterback ready, quarterback ready college quarterback in the draft is what they're saying with him.
Running the pro style
offense. I think he's a great leader. Tomlin and him will really work well together, and I think that is your probably your offensive player of the year, in my opinion.
Nice. I'm going to ask you about one more player. Excuse me. My boy Drake London out of USC.
Yes.
Big receiver, a lot of ability, explosive, decent speed. What do you think his impact would be, and what team you think he would be best on?
I actually got to see him live a few times.
Nice.
Very, very big guy, very aggressive, physical. Looked fast enough to me on the field, and sometimes I think, field speed's more important than even your 40 speed.
Strong hands.
I could see him going to Washington,
What are they, the Comrades?
Yeah. Commanders, teaming up with Carson Wentz, teaming up with Terry Mick. We all know his name, but he's the number one receiver. I can't remember out 500 guys' names. I'm not ESPN. I don't got my stat sheet right in front.
Beginning stage.
Yeah, but we all know who we're talking about. And teaming up with him, I think he could have a big season with them with two big receivers. Carson Wentz, to me has always found I think more success with bigger receivers and his tight ends. So I think that's a good
first
fit.
round or second round?
I think he's going to go in the first round. I really do. First round draft pick. Yep.
Well, I'm gonna go with my heart and not my brain. And I think he's gonna hopefully fall to like the third or fourth round, and the Rams will pick him up. And I think that'll be a good little receiver to add.
He's gonna come find you. He's right around the corner.
I'm gonna be like, boy,
you just lost him like $3 million just now.
He's gonna be upset with me.
He's gonna be acting playing for a second contract.
It's all about the re-up, baby. It's all about the re-up. First round, who could
he went from Malibu to Thousand Oaks.
If I had to let him go in the first round, I could possibly see him going to like the Jets, but the Jets are picking high though.
Jets are like 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's too high.
No, I think the kid out of Ohio State who ran
Patriots will probably grab his butt.
Yeah,
I can see Belichick grabbing him.
What about New Orleans?
He'll get Jiggy out there, have some Ed Touffans, some gumbo.
Yeah,
a couple of big yays.
He reminds me a little bit of Michael Thomas. That's why, and Michael Thomas.
He's coming back. Hopefully
he's coming back, but I feel like there has to be some animosity between him and the Saints. I mean, you pay somebody $20 million a year and they sit out 2 years in a row after your big contract. It
can be tough.
I could see some movement there. So
it can be tough. All right, well, that's another episode of What You Smellin' with Chubbz and Kellen. As you guys know, we like to close it with what we're smelling. Now, we got 3 games tonight in the NBA.
Yes.
We got Suns versus Pelicans, we got the Heat versus the Hawks, and we got Memphis versus Minnesota. I'm going to tell you what I'm smelling about each game, then followed by Kellen telling you what he's smelling about each game. We'll start with the Suns versus Pelicans. The series is tied 2-2.
Man, I was hoping we say that for last.
We'll say that for last.
That's my favorite one.
We'll go Heat versus Hawks.
Yes.
That series is 3-1.
Hit him with the breaking news.
Oh, Jimmy Butler's out.
Out. Swollen knee, out for the game.
Inflammation on the knee.
Yes.
Get it drained, get ready for the next game.
Still 6.5 points.
Remember, this is a 1 seed versus an 8 seed.
It is.
So in my mind, up 3-1, I think Heat will take care of business, win the series, close it out today. Allow Jimmy Butler to get some rest. What are you thinking?
I have a little bit of a hometown love for the Heat. My boy is the head strength coach for the Heat G League team. So shout out to Matt Houston. So I'm going to have to say, with Butler out, I know that they probably brought somebody up, and I know how they've been trained. So I got to go with my hometown Heat and say the Heat are going to close it out tonight.
So we agree.
Shout out to Matt Houston.
We agree on that one. Okay, then we got Memphis versus Minnesota. And this one, I like Minnesota tonight. Memphis has been battling. All the games have been pretty tough, but I think Minnesota's going to edge the Grizzlies tonight. What you feeling? What you smelling?
Man, you know what I'm smelling? And I hate to agree with you again, but Minnesota.
Nice.
I've been smelling Minnesota the whole series, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, they've let their guard down a little bit. Maybe some bad coaching. But at the end of the day, I just think overall they're a better team. And they have more players on their team, more stars, more scoring. John Morant can't do it all. And Minnesota will win the series. And they'll win tonight.
And I also predict that Patrick Beverly will probably get ejected tonight.
At least one technical.
At least for sure.
Guaranteed. No doubt.
I'm smelling a technical for sure.
100%.
Possible ejection.
Yes.
Then we got the final game, Suns versus Pelicans. Suns have been injury plagued by Devin Booker being out with that. It's a hamstring or a calf?
Hamstring,
which is always
grade 2, I think.
Pelicans believe in themselves. They have a great coach. Coach Mo is doing his thing. And I'm going to go with a shocker, and I'm going to pick the Pelicans tonight. I'm smelling the Pelicans.
We're the same? We're the same.
They suck. 3 for 3.
3 for 3. I had the shot. Yes.
You like the Pelicans?
Yes.
I'm going to let you smell the Pelicans.
Yes.
I'm going to go Suns.
All right, because I'm really smelling the Pelicans tonight.
Monty Williams, good coach as well. He'll pull it out tonight.
CP3 may have one of his games
He's
where
have an epic game.
He might. I think
this is a pivotal game in this series.
But something tells me that the Pelicans are ready to take that leap. Something tells me that Brandon Ingram, that the rest of the boys are going to seize the moment.
So unnecessary. Appreciate that, though. So you got the Pelicans, I'll take the Suns.
Let's go.
And we're deadlocked on everything else.
Let's go.
So that's what we're smelling with Chubbz and Kellen. We appreciate